Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is the Paxton Road TV reaction show for the game Spurs versus Manchester City, and the score: Spurs 1, Manchester City 0. And we're joined in the house. I'm so buzzing by Mike Hotspur, Darius 3K, and live just from the game, Sid Spurs. We'll be getting more people on. Don't worry about it, Spurs fans, and all the other fans watching. You know, come on, you Spurs, let's do this. Woo! Woo! Guys, I'm a little bit excited, as you can tell. But there should be reason to be. You know, all the stuff that's been going off, all the, you know, the talk about Harry Kane, all the talk about can Nuno cope with a big team mentality? Can he do this? Can he do that? Well, I think he's just shown today, in my opinion, that we can be a match for any team. In terms of a one-off performance, I'm okay. You know, City didn't obviously start with Kevin De Bruyne. There's a couple other people in there. But when they've got £500 million worth of talent on the pitch and another £350 million worth of talent on the bench, for us to match them, and we matched them player for player in that game today, I am absolutely buzzing. I'm going to come firstly to Sid because he was at the game. Sid, what was the atmosphere like? What was it like to be in the stadium?
Honest to God, atmosphere from the start was absolutely mental. Kicking. It was kicking. They were up for it. The fans were up for it. Kane not being there, I don't think anyone was bothered. There was not even a mention of Kane until we went 1-0 up. And to top it up, last season when we went, there was a little bit of the vibes were low when we were playing, but offset, it was kicking. They were 100%, and most importantly, the players gave 100%. Tanganga, what a player!
Oh, what a performance!
What a midfielder!
Galatasaray, stay away, Galatasaray.
He's not going nowhere. If they even put
when Tanganga got taken off, the singing, he went off opposite side. They were singing his name until he went down the tunnel. Honestly,
he must be loving that.
It was kicking, absolutely mental. My missus came for the first time.
Sid, we just lost him. That is our worst part.
He's gone through a tunnel. He's gone through
something, but that's the worst time to lose him. I'm going to come to you next, Mike. What was your thoughts on the game? I know what your thoughts are, but I want to hear it live from yourself. What did you think of that performance today from the Spurs?
Do you know what? The first 5-10 minutes, I'm not going to lie, it was the City came out like they're just broken out of prison. They came out hard and fast. They were running for their lives. That's what it felt like. And we were under the cosh, I'd say, for the first 10-15 minutes. I think any Spurs fan would probably say that's probably a fair reflection. And I probably mentioned it in the WhatsApp groups offline. I said all we have to do is just grow into the game, just settle, just grow into the game, and then see what happens. And I think Tottenham, well, we more than did that because we came away with 3 points. I tell you what, and I'm going to put it on record out here. Sanchez and Dyer, they were solid today. I mean, they were solid against
They were
Arsenal.
more than solid, though. They were more than solid. They were actually more than solid.
Absolutely.
They were very good against Arsenal because they didn't concede against Arsenal. Yeah. Today, against Man City, we were all a little bit nervous. Let's not lie. We were all a bit nervous and a bit like, oh, that's probably, if we're going to change anything in that whole team that we thought would be the lineup, it'd be those two. But whatever Nuno's doing at the lodge, whatever
he's put into the canteen in their sandwiches, mate, I don't know what it is.
He's giving them all Heinz ketchup because it must have been.
No more Branson. No more Branson.
No, seriously.
Oh, good grief.
And Tanganga, I mean, if you're going to keep £100 million player quiet, Tanganga today showed how you're going to do that, because Grealish didn't have a clue. He wasn't going to beat him for pace. He wasn't going to beat him for strength. So unless you just switched Grealish over to central or to the other side, he was getting nothing out of today, because what a player. I mean, just mentioned Galatasaray. Stay away.
He's not getting him. I'm going down to the ground. If they even think about putting him on their transfer list, I'm getting down to the ground and I'm going to step to Nuno. I'll step to him. Seriously, I'll step to him. That's all I'll say. Nah.
And Skip's there. I know, like, there was a couple of people in our WhatsApp group who were giving Skip a bit of a hard time, but he's just come up against £500 million worth of talent.
Can we name and shame? We're going to name and shame off stream. We'll name and shame off stream because I'm having words with them.
I wasn't happy with it because I thought Skip and Højbjerg, once they grew into the game, once they got sort of their feet on the ground and got accustomed to how quickly paced that game was, because it was an open game.
It was very quick in the start.
But you're telling me Skip looked out of place. I thought Skip, for how old is he now? 21? 20?
Oliver Skip. He's 20 still, I think. I think he's 21 soon.
Mate, we've got a player on our hands. I don't care what anyone says. Skip is
you know what we were saying, Mike, in the group when we had a couple of comments
he's 20.
Skip was getting bypassed. And Skip was getting this. Skip had to get. Who doesn't get bypassed by Jack Grealish in most games? He's the most foul player in the Prem. So he's going to get by you. But when he worked out what Jack Grealish's strengths were in terms of the ability Jack Grealish has to get past you, he dealt with him. He showed him into areas of the pitch man, I thought that was the best part about it. Working out where you can like nullify something, but also force them into areas where they can't be hurtful. Darius, I'm going to come to you. Sorry, go on, Mike. So finish
very quickly. All we wanted as Spurs fans was progression. And I think today, in terms of if we can continue that type of performance for the rest of the season, which we're going to have ups and downs because not every game's going to go our way. But if we show the level of desire, the level of commitment, that type of performance, and everyone puts in 100%, then there won't be any arguments from any fans going forward this season. Or there shouldn't be anyway. Because
you cannot match as I said, I think I said this in the preview. As long as they match the effort levels and the effort levels maintained throughout the game, I don't mind about how the result might have gone. Because the performance from an effort level perspective, even Dele Alli worked his socks off throughout the whole game. Then I was I was scratching my head at times thinking, this guy.
And Sam, you know what?
Play like that.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Sam, but I was just going to say about Dele Alli, because that's a good point you make up about him. The first half, I actually thought he was pretty bad. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually didn't think he had a good game at all. And I was very much, if me and Jack and David were talking about it on stream, we said that the first sub I would make would be Gio Lo Celso for Dele Alli. Because if he's going to play as a flat three in midfield, I think Gio Lo Celso's skill set is much more suited to play a flat three. He can beat a man and he can also find a pass. And he can also do what Dele Alli does. I think Dele Alli's strength comes from running in beyond the striker. However, me saying that, the second half, his defensive quality was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And when I saw that, and that was what he was contributing to the team, I said, don't bring this guy off because he's actually contributing significantly to the team. It may not be what we think it is, but it's in a different way. And if he's beginning to adapt his game like that, and that means that he doesn't get as many goals and assists, I'm actually here for that because he's showed to me now in this game that he can actually impact a game, and that's the main issue I had with Dele Alli. If he wasn't scoring, he wasn't doing much in the game. But this game, especially against Man City, he was unbelievable in the second half defensively, and I have to give him 100% credit for that. And I will hold my hands up and say that.
But you just go to like through pre-season. I don't think anyone can question his work rate. His work rate's up tenfold to what we saw under Mourinho, and I think.
That's the fitness, though, isn't it? It has to be the fitness.
It is 100%. It's the fitness levels. The fitness levels. The players look sharp. I mean, Ali's bulked out a little bit. You can see that, but he's doing stuff that you wouldn't have seen potentially under. Well, certainly you didn't see it under Mourinho. You didn't see it under Mason, and you didn't really see it under Pochettino. But whatever Nuno said to these lads, it seemed like they're buying into his way of thinking. I know it's only the first game of the season, but if you look in the pre-season, you can see like there's a togetherness. There's something's changed in the background, and 100%. I think Nuno, whatever Nuno's doing, he's just got to continue that. And
you know what it is for me? You know what it is for me?
Lucas Moura today as well.
Yeah. Sid, I want to get your perspective.
Skip and Tanganga. They were the main three standouts for me.
I want to get Sid's perspective from seeing, because obviously a different perspective when you're at the ground. But in terms of what I was just going to mention, what Mike had just said, what I'm liking is the togetherness. You know, when that foul happened towards the end, I think it was on Lucas, and Jack Grealish came up to him, started pointing fingers. Everybody, not bar the keeper almost, was around. You know what I mean? Everybody was looking to defend. Sanchez was there defending. Skip, Højbjerg were all there defending. Dyer got into it. You want to see that fight together, because that's a massive thing. Team games, team sports are all about the togetherness of the group. If you're a splinter cell, you can't work long term. You can have individual performances, but if you're not together for the whole thing throughout this whole season, you'll get found out. And today, those little things showed me that the team, the group are happy. So whether or not there's going to be any dynamics that will change that, we're going to have to wait and see. But from what I've seen today, it was absolutely superb from that perspective. Sid, what was your thoughts in terms of seeing the view from where you was in the stadium?
I think everybody when Tanganga Skip, I think everybody was like, wow. I mean, every time Skip made them challenges, Tanganga, like I said to you, the round of applause he got when he went off the pitch. But what you were saying, Sam, as well, the togetherness, every challenge they were going in like 150%. They were all, backing each other up. Lucas Moura was immense. I mean,
my God, Lucas Moura.
Oh my word! Every time he got the ball, he was terrorizing him. He was terrorizing him. And you know what? It's when he lost it, he was sprinting back, and then he was giving the aggressive tackles. When he was on the ball, they just could not get the ball off him. And you know what? Everyone around me, they was just like, wow. You know what? They were amazed at how the togetherness, how they were playing together, the bond, everything was just amazing. Like, that stadium was lit up today.
I can imagine.
So wish I could be there, man.
As electrifying as that. And at the final whistle, even with like 2-3 minutes to go, it got a little bit tense, but nobody was leaving the ground. Nobody was leaving. They were all staying till the end. And I tell you what, Pep must be thinking, I need a striker, because they were poor. They were poor.
Harry Kane's value's just gone up by 50 million, surely.
Well,
because everyone knows City need a striker now.
They do 100%. And that's a very good point. Go on, Sid. Sorry, I've just put the stats up while you're talking.
Now, anyone now that will, after today's game, Vlahovic, even Martinez and them lot, they'll be now knocking on our door. They'll be ringing Paratici now to say, listen, we want to be part of this now, because I think today's performance and, the atmosphere has just summed it up now. I think people now are going to be like, I think we're going to get a good few signings in. Sid says he's going to be, tomorrow and Friday, he's going to be mental, mate.
I'm looking out for Sid says already.
Sid, are we doing it tomorrow? Are you doing it tomorrow, Sid? Sid says.
Tomorrow. We're going to do one tomorrow.
I'll probably join you on that then, because I've not got anything to do tomorrow. So I'll join you on that one.
Yeah.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this now. Everybody wants to be on Sid Says now. Sid Says is going to be like top of the pops. Top of the pops. Just looking at the stats then, possession-wise, and again, you can look at the possession. It seemed like we had more possession, but to be honest with it was possession in areas of the pitch where, City had good possession in the back four. And like I said, you can let City have the ball there all the time. As soon as it comes in, the middle, they blocked off the middle, what Spurs did really well. All the 3 forward players were very tight. The midfield 3 players were very tight, and the back 4 were compact again. So it forced City to either play wide or play long, both of which I'm happy for them to do. So 34% to 66, not too fast. The shots now, that's very good stat for us. 13 shots to 18. City usually, with the possession, always seem to have a lot more. And that shows now that we were on the front foot a lot more. Had we had these stats with a 34% possession with Jose, we'd have probably only had 2 shots on goal and maybe 1 on target. So the fact that we're getting shots off, the shots on target, both teams are pretty low on that. But the shots in total is what you want to be seeing, because now what I'm finding is they're winning the ball higher up and they're going for goal. There was a couple more times where Son, in the first half, had he made a different decision, we could have got more shots off. But what's your thoughts on that, Darius, in terms of the stats? What are you seeing that's different now than last season?
Stats don't really, for me, the difference isn't really apparent in the stats. I know that the possession is obvious to me. The shots surprised me. I'm very, very happy with the amount of shots we had. I think that this game similarly represented the Arsenal-Brentford game, and we took the role of Brentford in terms of the fact that Arsenal had all the possession, but really weren't, and they had about 20 odd shots as well, but the shots were not clear cut. They were just sort of shots being taken. I know a few of them were balls in the box being played and a few sprayed across the box, but there wasn't anything like the recent that second half. I think made one save that I could remember out of the entire second half.
Exactly.
So it was for me. It was understanding and knowing that we can be quote unquote dominated, but still control the game. And that's exactly what we did. And the reason why I think that Nuno is responsible for a lot of the improvement in performances, especially from the players that we don't expect, is because if you notice, when Jose played and we sort of were accepting sort of the teams to attack us, we would defend almost on our box. It was almost like we put everybody in our box. Nuno pushed us about 10 yards forward, and we started to press from sort of just outside the 18-yard box in that sort of final third, just before the final third. And I think that that was so important, because at least now, if you win the ball in that area, or if you don't win the ball in that area, they still do have to travel a little bit further to get to the goal. And if we do win the ball in that area, the transition into attack is a lot quicker. If you notice, when you've got somebody like Lucas on that pitch, running past players like it was, he was running past City players like they were Colchester, because he was doing that all pre-season.
Lucas was phenomenal at
he was doing that all pre-season, and he was just running past players. And if you can do that and start the press a little bit higher, you're going to be able to create the chances like we did. Like Lucas there was opportunities where we could have gone to a Bergwijn. Again, I don't want to get onto him. I don't want to be negative, but he didn't play great in my opinion. I don't think he had the best of games. But if he had scored that shot, nobody would have cared. And that's the sort of thing. It's a fine margins against teams like City. But you know, when we're playing teams like your Palaces, your Burnleys and stuff like that, I'm expecting us to dominate these games now, because from that performance there, it shows to me that we can really take it to teams now. We can really, really take it to teams now. And then the bench as well. For me, we could have made subs like Lascelles came on, cool, but we could have brought on Brian. We've still got Ndombele to get back. We don't know what the situation with Kane's going to be like now. So it's not even like we're at full strength either. So there's so many other things I could talk about that.
I mean, you've just mentioned two names there, plus Kane,
who are basically first teamers.
Yeah, easily.
And I also believe that, if you notice, Paratici and Hitchin were there, right?
Paratici was like he was a player on the bench. He may as well put a tracksuit on. I thought he was going to put a tracksuit on. You know how happy that made me? That made me so happy, because he can see now, live in 4K, what needs addressing and what doesn't. And he will do that. I actually believe that this result, the win, will probably make us sign a couple more players. I think a loss maybe would have made us, but I think a win would do just as much. I think now they'll be like, you know what? With a couple more additions to this team, that top 4 spot actually might look like an actual challenge. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. What I need to see more of though is you know, this, as I said, I think we all mentioned, I'm going to come to Mike in a minute. We all mentioned that this is probably the best time to play City. City notoriously don't start seasons that great. They usually win the first game, but then it's a little bit of transition till they find all the players. They've got Jack Grealish. He's kind of got to find his position. He was playing centrally, but was more off the left. They overload that left side. So again, we have to take into consideration the first game of the season, the crowd's up for it, the players up for it, similar to like how Brentford were against Arsenal. So I'm liking it. I thought Stevie B had an all right game, you know. I'm not going to lie.
He was all right.
He was okay.
His finishing needs work, but he was the one that carried the ball a lot. When he had open space, he carried that ball, and he carried it 40, 50 yards, and he was quick with it. His final decision making is now the thing he's got to work on. Does he make the right passes all the time? Not quite sure. Does he shoot and have the clinical aspect like Son has? Nowhere near. But he's doing things in there which we need him to do. He carried that ball. When you've got a midfield, when you've broken that press and there's space, that's what you've got to do. Sissoko might have been looking around trying to make a pass. Carry the ball if you've got space. Mike, obvious question. Well, maybe not so much obvious, but who's your man of the match today?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That is tough. Do you know what? I'm a little bit torn with this. Yes, a tough question that is. I'm going to go. I'm torn between, and I'm going to. Well, it's obvious, Tanganga, but I'm also torn with Sanchez, because I thought Sanchez was.
Oh, Sanchez is good.
Solid. Like that's his best he's played in a long time, and he just looks like a completely different. And he has looked in pre-season. He looked decent as well.
You know what it is,
like
you, Mike. I think it's from the Coppers. I think it's Copper America that gave him that confidence, because he had a really, really good Copper America. Like he was very, very influential in that Copper America. Do you think that was? Yeah. You think he's carrying that on into the season?
So that's the thing. If he carries it on to the season, and this is the same with Dyer, if those two carry it on into the season, how are you going to drop them? I mean, they kept a clean sheet.
Because Romero's waiting.
Because we got Romero. That's why we can drop them.
But it's good to have those options.
I honestly don't think that Nuno will drop those two. I don't think he'll drop anyone from that team today going forward into the next game.
No,
but
not the next game. You can't.
Man of the match. I can't choose between Sanchez and Tanganga. I mean, I probably would go Tanganga because he kept £100 million player in his back pocket. I mean, he's probably going to have to empty his pockets when he gets out of the change rooms.
Sterling had to come off the pitch. He couldn't handle him that much, mate. Sterling came off the pitch.
A lot of people in the chat are saying Lucas man of the match. I'm going with Tanganga, but like, Lucas weren't far behind.
It's difficult.
It really is difficult. Because Sid's breaking in and out, I'm going to come to Sid just in case he goes again. Sid, from your perspective, watching the game live again today, who was your man of the match?
You know, I agree with you guys. I think there was a couple, and I think Tanganga was superb. I think Skip done really well. I think Son done well. Moura done well. And I'm just going to do what they've been doing in the Olympics in a lot of the events, and I'm going to share it. And I'm going to share it between Tanganga and Moura. The reason I'm going for Moura is because his work rate, and every time he got the ball and what he was doing with it off the ball and on the ball, I think he was immense. Tanganga, just from the offset, I think he knew that Jack Grealish is on my side, and he made Jack Grealish aware. Listen, mate, you might be skillful, but I'm going to beat the shit out of you today.
Tanganga was so aggressive, I thought he might get arrested.
Exactly.
That's how aggressive he was today. Because he was doing some things to Jack when I was thinking, oh, you're not going to get away with that. Oh, you're not going to. And the referee actually called Lloris over and said, listen, I think he said to him, listen, this guy here, you need to say something to him because he's going to get himself sent off. But whatever he said, he still controlled himself and he was able to still play in that same aggressive manner and keep Jack Grealish out of the game for large parts. Don't get me wrong. Jack Grealish is a talented player. And when he gets past you, he's gone. You know what I mean? He showed some strength today. I see a couple of players bouncing off him. But in general, brilliant performances from the back four. Brilliant performances.
But Sam, I don't know if you guys have covered it because I've been coming in and out. For us, as much as the skillful players that they had in Mahrez, Grealish and them lot, I don't think they created enough to threaten us. I think it was all skills and all that, but there was nothing. There was no penetration up front for them. I think, you know what, they were trying to do it all on their own. And I throughout the whole game, I've been to a lot of games at Tottenham Stadium, right? And I've been sat there and I'm thinking, here we go. But today, I just could not sense that happening at all.
Yeah, I think what it was.
Sometimes you get that in games, don't you? Whereby you got that, you get the vibe from the pitch that regardless of how much possession a team or the opposition might have, you just get a vibe that they're not going to do much with it, and you could end up getting a result out of it. And I think when you look at the game today, I thought we would get something out of the game.
I'm looking at the starting 11, and it's. I've got to get the graphics now with the new shirts on there. Didn't have time to do it before, but I don't care. I think that back four today, or back five, was as good as the back five performances I've seen from Spurs for a very long time. Certainly, even throughout that Jose era. And the reason being is because there was no mistakes in there. Do you know what I'm saying? There was no mistakes, not even mistakes that didn't lead to goals. But usually we have mistakes that lead to goals. There wasn't anything today that I saw that made me think, oh my God, we got to do. It was very, very solid. You know, crosses came in. I know we can deal with crosses, but sometimes you're thinking balls into the box are going to be a problem for us. We got rid of everything. And that Nuno's put something in that Heinz, whether it's Heinz ketchup, whether it's Heinz beans, whatever it is, I think he's got to keep it going. He's definitely got to keep it going. I'm just going to come to you, Darius. What if any changes can be made? Was there anything that you saw today that maybe could be improved in terms of the players' performance or even the players themselves? What's your thoughts on that?
It's a good question. Hotspur, I don't know if this role was the best role for him. I think he played well, don't get me wrong. Hotspur always plays well, but I think that Skip was sort of playing in that position that Hotspur was playing. I think maybe them two being a little bit more in tandem together. I saw that we would sort of sometimes that middle was getting a little bit exposed. I don't know if that was down to Dele. This was only in the first half, to be honest. In the second half, we seemed to pick up a lot more, but I think the midfield was a little bit, especially in those first 20, we were getting properly ran through. But you know what? Apart from that, I'm not going to start fishing for excuses or like sort of negative news because I really can't say that anybody really put a foot out wrong. Again, the Bergwijn finish, if we had not won the game, I would have probably looked at that moment and said, if he had scored that, we probably would have won. But we still, again, like Sid said, we held out. And that was something that we were famous. There was a literal stat that they brought up on Sky Sports when the game was on. That I think it was only Brighton who had conceded more points from
23
winning
points
positions.
from winning positions we lost, and Brighton were 25. That's unforgivable. Darius, before I let you go on, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to the people watching. All you Paxton people that are watching, thank you very much. We've got Derek, shout out to you, Gems, ATX7 Gaming, Terry Wright, Paul Anderson. We've got Sean Hurl in there, Road to Nowhere. We've also got Leon in there. Who else have got in the house? Don P, welcome. Views on Spurs. Lookman, as always. Tottenham teacher. There's loads of you. Now, what I want you all to do for me and for us, hit that like button. All of you guys in the chat, hit the like button. All of you guys, hit that like button. Get these analytics up. Make sure that we are #1 trending on your homepage. We want to be seen all over the place.
We've almost got 100 beautiful people watching us as well.
100 beautiful people, which means we should have 100 beautiful likes at least. So come on, if you want to see more of us happy, then we have to keep winning, obviously. But as I said, first game of the season, we cannot be any happier. I'm going to come to all of you for your final thoughts on the performance and what we want to see for next game. So, Mike Hotspur, Hustler, starting with you. Off you go.
I mean, let's just recap for a second. What a performance! I'm going to be smiling all day now. I'll probably be on the WhatsApp groups, sort of giving it large to all the Arsenal fans out there. That's just standard. But in terms of today, like the result was obviously it was what it was. It was great. The performance, I think the performance far outweighed the 3 points in my eyes. Like, I thought the performance was just, I haven't seen Spurs play like that for a very, very, very long time.
Jose sucked the life out of us.
He did. I think he has.
What did I try to tell you guys, man? I've been said this for like 2 years, and now we finally realise I'm here for it. But the most important thing is for us is, I mean, for us as a club, the first game of the season to be facing the champions of the Premier League. I mean, it's probably not there wasn't a harder game for us to start off with, but we've got a massive 3 points on the board. So that in itself is great. But what going forward, they've set the precedent now of what us as fans going forward want to see in terms of performance, in terms of that desire, wearing their hearts on the sleeves, and they look like they're playing for the badge. They look like they're playing for each other. And again, we haven't seen that for a long time. So, the most important thing for us Spurs fans is progression. As long as we see progression and positivity. I go back to our transition. I think you mentioned it. I'm sure you mentioned it, Darius, as well as you did, Sam. From midfield, how quickly we were able to get it up to the front line, it was far quicker than what I've seen under Mourinho for a long time. You could just see the difference already. And as I say, I just want to, as long as I keep seeing that throughout the season. I know results aren't always going to go our way. That's just typical of the season. But as long as we see, as I say, what we've seen today going forward in terms of that performance, etc., then you're not going to get too many complaints from certainly from me anyway. I'm
that happy today. I'm that happy that I put some of these messages up twice. I don't care. I'm not bothered. If you've seen your message up twice, I don't care. I'm happy. I'm not bothered. But I'm going to come to I'm going to come to Darius next. What was your overall thoughts on the game, and what do you want to see for the next one?
I think you remember. I think I said it on the preview show. I might have said it on the preview show, but I said this is a free hit for Nuno regardless. I said whatever the guy does, when you're playing teams like City, Chelsea, I threw Leicester in there. I'll throw Man United in there. Liverpool, you can put in there. It doesn't really matter how you perform. It's what you get. It's the result you get. But the performance added onto that just makes it even better. So the fact that we've, 1, got a result, 2, deserved the result, and 3, put in a solid performance that shows that we've actually made progress from last season. Because normally, if we were going 1-0 down in 80th minute, like we would all say, yeah, we're probably going to draw this game. But like Sid said, he was actually quietly confident that we were going to be able to hold out. And to me, that's showing progress already. First game in the season. So I can't literally, I'm not going to say anything negative about anybody because it's not the time to do that.
You can't say anything negative.
You can't.
Even you can't be that negative.
I can't. I'm not even going to.
Don't do a pipes on us.
I'm not even going to. I'm not doing that. I'm going to actually give a shout out to
Pipes. Shout out to Pipes. I'm
going to give a shout out to Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer though. I am going to say that because you know what? The amount of times that I personally, and I guess all of us have slated those two and really got into their cases, they've put in a like beyond solid performance. Like they've really shown that they can actually defend when they want to, whether that's down to Nuno, whether that's down to the Heinz Beans, whether that's down to them just being better this season. I don't know.
Or just fitter.
Or just fitness. Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many positives we can take from it. Is it Watford the next game or is it Wolves? I think it's Watford away or Watford home. Watford away. They had a good result against Villa and they will be.
No, Watford's at home.
Watford's home. Sorry.
Oh, Watford's home. Okay. It must be Wolves away next game. I honestly can't remember.
Wolves away and Watford at home.
Wolves away next?
Sorry.
So Wolves away is the next game. So Wolves away, Nuno's going to want to prove himself against his old club. They didn't have a great result last game. So I think honestly to God, keep that same team for the Wolves game and the same exact performance. You could probably even decide to attack more against that Wolves team, even though you've got threatening players. I want to see us now take it to teams. We've played the City. We've been able to hold them out. We've been able to, not have as much possession and still win the game. Let's see us now go out against, because we are better than most of these teams in the league. I don't even care what anybody says now. I actually don't care. I don't know. You can clip it. I actually don't care. Like,
no, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at this next one here. This comment from Dele Alli. Hit the like button if you want Arteta to get a brand new 5-year contract from Arsenal. Hit that like button. If for anything, hit the like button just for that, please. We've got.
There was another comment. Sid, there was another comment about Sid. Did you lock your car door?
I don't.
I'm not sure you locked your car door, mate.
You just walked straight into his house. No car door, no car lock.
Sid didn't press click, he didn't do nothing.
I can't see who said it. It might have been Chris on the comments there. Or Derek, I can't remember. I saw Derek.
Yeah. Listen, I get chauffeur driven to the games by my wonderful wife, yeah.
Oh, so, superb.
Lucky devil.
Because I was streaming live, I drove us there and then I said to her, can you please do the honesty drive us back? So I could come on live. Yeah. So obviously the keys were in my pocket. So she said, did you lock the car?
Well, just to finish up, I honestly just want us to keep the exact same energy for next game. And I want us to be even more intense. I actually want us to be even more intense next game because now we've proven that we aren't a joke. We aren't a joke. And if we can get some more signings in, we can really start cooking this season. I do genuinely believe that.
Listen,
it's important you say that though, Darius. It's important, like with what Darius says there. The next game, when in pre-season, our back line's been playing further upfield, which enables obviously that press to work better.
Shortens the gap, doesn't it, from defence to attack?
100%. And if you watched Wolves yesterday, I didn't watch the whole game, but there were certain parts of it on his goal and stuff. And Wolves didn't they just looked different. They didn't press Leicester at all. They just looked like a completely different outfit. And I mean, okay, Leicester played very well, and I mean whatnot. But it'd be interesting to see how we, like you said, Darius, how we line up against Wolves because
I think he'll go with the same lineup. Honestly, I think he will, but it will be a different approach to the game.
I'm going to have to interrupt you. We've almost got 300 live viewers. 296.
Wow, I didn't even see
you guys are fantastic. Please, all of you.
That's amazing.
Real support.
Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Just hit that like button. Do us a massive favor. Hit that like button. Comment as much as you want. This has got to be a day when we can get.
That's amazing. That's triple our record viewers, isn't it? That is.
Basically,
and there's a message here from Sean Hale. Switch off Sky. Yeah, you don't need Sky anymore because we're going to try and give you all that Sky stuff with a bit of humour as well. Sid, I'm going to let you have the final say, just in terms of the performance and what you want to see from the team going forward in the next game.
I think after today's performance, I think we've set the benchmark from the offset. I think, you know what, the home crowd as well made a massive difference. I think first game back, packed to capacity, fans were on it from offset. And now this team today that started has set a benchmark. Honestly, this is how we should be playing now every week, week in, week out. Pep's just turned up apparently in his interview and said that their transition wasn't good enough. That's fine. Let him say what he wants. But from goalkeeper to defenders to midfield to up front, we have set a benchmark. We now need to play like this. Yeah, we need to put, you know, we've got to be aggressive. We've got to create, attack, and finish the chances. Okay, we had Bergwijn had 1 or 2, which he should have buried, especially that one. But as a unit, as a team, we've got the youngsters in now as well, and he doesn't have to rely on the likes of Winks and Sissoko and all them.
They are not getting a game at all, and I'm so happy about that.
They're not getting games, are they?
So happy about that.
They're not getting games.
Play him in the Conference League. Play him in the Conference
Exactly.
League.
And you know what? The fans, honest to God, were amazing. Every tackle. That I've never seen Spurs fans cheer a tackle and the way they were making tackles. I don't care if it was Moura, it was Dyer, Skip, Sanchez. That tackle, I think it was in the 92nd minute by Sanchez.
Yeah,
that must have got the biggest cheer of the night. Honestly,
it was a great tackle as well.
It was a great tackle.
It was an amazing tackle. Like, I haven't seen Sanchez do that in ages. And he just, and you know what it is? About.
No, and confidence. Every single player, confidence is. If one's got it, they all get in it, and togetherness, the whole confidence. I mean, I'm not getting carried away for the rest of the season. I'm not going to say we're going to win the league, but if we put in performances like this week in, week out, like Darius said, top 4 might not be it's not out of the equation, honestly.
Whoa,
and
steady!
Sid, speak it. Sid,
talk it. Darius, steady on.
To all 320 people.
That's usually a Mike's job. I want you both to steady now. Particularly you, Darius. Just take it easy.
I've given them on 6 days over the last couple of weeks enough quality players that we can bring in. And if some of them come in, I'm telling you.
When Sid says everyone has to just listen.
I'm saying it. I'm telling you.
Sid is going to sing it. Sid is going to say it. Sid is going to talk it. Sid's got a big show. Listen.
This is number 1 here. The only question I've got quickly for everyone is, what do we all think Harry Kane's thinking right now?
Bro, you can go for 150. Like, I actually don't care anymore.
No, 150. He's got to be going for more than that. Because
man, 150.
They're desperate.
Yo, if he stays, he stays. If he stays, he stays, and I'll be over the moon. If he goes, he goes, as long as we get the money. That's my style.
Vlahovic wants to come.
An oil field. I'm not entertaining them. I'm not entertaining them.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a talking points around about that sort of subject. I know we've done Harry Kane, but I'm going to try and do it in such a way we can kind of discuss. Do we actually? Because I think we still, obviously,
we need him.
Better with him.
Yeah.
Better with him. But what it has shown is we can do certain things without him. And I think Sonny down the middle, Sonny wants to be the man. Now, whether Harry Kane comes back in, that might disrupt that. They're very good friends. We know that. But what I've seen from Sonny over the last few games, particularly in pre-season, he wants to be the main man. And he's got that character. He's got that finishing ability. Why not let him be the main man? Let him be the main man.
Yeah, he's steady in front of goal, isn't he? But it's Harry Kane now, isn't it?
But obviously keep him if he wants to stay. You obviously keep him. If they pay the money up, I won't actually be that angry as long as we get in 2 world class.
Let's not even talk about Harry Kane.
He didn't play.
This is the moment. We've beaten Man City, the champions, right? They kept singing to us. When was the last time you won the league? Have you ever seen Spurs win the league? Do you know what? They can go and shove it up the Jacksons, right? Because we've beaten them 1-0. Manchester is red. It's not even blue.
Steady.
Sid's a Man U fan. He's happy.
He's gone.
I'm telling you.
He's gone. Sid,
empty. I can stay empty.
Look out for Sid Says tomorrow. I think he'll be on tomorrow, Monday, with Darius potentially on tomorrow. And I'm sure he might do a little rendition of some form of song that was sung yesterday or today on at the game. Before we go, a massive shout out to everybody watching. We have over 300 people watching live. Fantastic. Again, smash that like button, share us around, make sure you tell your friends about us. If you're overseas, because we're in the UK, if you're overseas, wherever you are, share this around and we will do our best to bring you as much content as we can. We've got other shows coming out, as we mentioned, Sid says already. We've got Judge Jody with our player rating show. Sorry, couldn't get through all the comments, but they're just flying through. But again,
thank you for the amount of viewers as well, by the way. Sorry, thank you for the amount of viewers, because 320 odd is insane.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah,
it is. It's crazy. I think Jodie's on tomorrow as well, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Is it tomorrow or Tuesday? Player rate, Judge. Yeah, it's tomorrow. Player ratings, isn't it?
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? You know what? We're not gonna quite go yet. We're gonna bring on somebody. Viewers out there, I apologize. Not apology, but we were gonna go, but we've got a special person to bring in you. Ah, here he is. Is he going to be on? Is he on?
No, I couldn't escape. I thought I had to come on
you
to
start, don't say
anything.
you keep quiet. You keep quiet. I'm going to bring it to Juicy. We have got in the house from FTB Sports the one and only Ian Blue Moon. How you doing?
Yeah, I thought Spurs played really well, battled really well.
Thank you.
Looked like they'd had a solid pre-season. Tabanga, the left back, thought he was fantastic.
Don't get it twisted. It's Tanganga. Don't try and do that.
Tanganga.
Not on this show. Not on this show.
Maybe we were tangled.
You were tangled, yeah.
It's brilliant. Yeah. Ian, we were going to go because we've got a lot of things to do, but it's great to have you on here. We want you to say your bit. Did you think the result was what it should have been, or have you got a little bit of grievance towards Spurs winning the game, or was it a fair result? What's your thoughts on that? I'm going to put you on big screen.
Any grievance? I thought it was a fair result.
Yes, that's all I want to hear.
That's all I want to hear. They battled really hard. I thought they'd obviously had a good pre-season of training. I think City looked rusty and just a little incoherent at times. The guy, what's his name again?
Tanganga.
We're not having it, Sid. We're not having it, Ian. We're not having it.
Tango Man.
Tango Man. We're not having it.
Was powerful. I thought they played well, and I thought the last 10 minutes, some of the sliding tackles and the way they went in epitomised the kind of Alamo performance. And for you guys, I hope it kickstarts a better season, that there is more spirit on a consistent level for you guys. But no, well played. City were off the pace and Spurs were up for it.
Ian, you look defeated.
I'm really pissed off.
He's had a bad weekend. He's had a bad weekend. Remember, Crystal Palace got tore a new one as well. Yeah. So that's what happened as well. So they got tore a new one by Chelsea, as well as Man City not doing too well. So it's not been a good weekend for Blue.
And then United putting 5+ leads as well. Really must be a bad weekend for you, man.
Anyway, thank you very much, Ian, for coming on.
I'm going to go. You can chuck me off now. Adios. Have a good time, fellas.
It's been emotional.
Bye, Ian.
It was a great little cameo.
We are going to get clipped up if we're not careful in the future from this stream.